You are listening to the Park Flyer Podcast, where we discuss our RC adventures.
Welcome to the Park Flyer Podcast, where we discuss the ups and downs of the new RC Flyer. Join your hosts, Michael and Jay, as they take flight at the park. Now on with the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Park Flyer Podcast. It is a new year. Welcome to 2020. I'm Michael from Arizona, and with me always is my good friend
Jay from the hills of Texas.
And we are excusing Alaska Mike today because he is on a cruise.
Yeah, he's starting the year off right.
Yeah. So. Well, anyway. Welcome to the new season. We are excited to be here. A lot of good stuff for 2020 on the books. But first, what'd you do this week?
What did I do this week? A bunch of little stuff. I kind of got a little something clause present. But for folks who don't know what a something clause is, there's a Saturday Night Live skit, and it's about, if you've been naughty all year, don't worry about it because something clause is going to bring you something.
That's right.
And I got a little something clause money because that's what he gives out. He gives out cash. He doesn't give out presents.
True.
And I got a little cash gift for my father-in-law, and I was looking about Craigslist. As you know, I like to cruise on there to see if there's any RC gifts. And, well, I also expanded that to 3D printers as well. So there was a 3D printer that I wanted. It turned out to be a little ways away in Houston.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was a little bit, an inch on the map was a little bit longer than I thought. So in convening with this guy back and forth, he wrote me back, and he kind of thought I was a Nigerian prince, and I was trying to give him $50,000 for a mere, $100. If he would give me a printer, I would give him
way to start the year off right.
Oh, it's quite hilarious actually, the whole thing of it. But basically, I just was writing him and telling him that I couldn't meet the standards of his ad. He wanted it to be pickup only, and I told him that I was interested, and I basically gave him a day that I could probably come out when I had the car. Blah 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 blah. And then when I finally realized he was on the other side of Houston and not on the far edge, eastern edge of Houston. I mean, eastern edge of Houston. But all of a sudden it went to 4 hours to drive to the guy's house as opposed.
That's an 8-hour day for you, right?
An 8-hour day.
4 hours out, 4 hours back.
So I wrote the guy back and said, "Hey man, I'm stupid. I can't read a map. I just moved down here from Alaska. So, I messed up, but I said, I'm still interested, but hey, good luck on the ad. Hope somebody buys it off you. But if you don't sell it, let me know. I'll pay for shipping through FedEx Ground, and I'll buy it off of you if it doesn't sell." And so he took it and it's like, this is really shady. What's with the after the ad, it has to be over. And what's this? You're going to pay for shipping. I got to pay for shipping and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you don't have to pay for any shipping, dude. I'm going to pay for it. You just, discovered being from Alaska, right? I just discovered FedEx Ground and how wonderful it is. And it's so inexpensive to ship stuff.
Yeah. That's what happens in the lower 48. You don't have to, save up for a year to ship something.
Or over Polar Iceberg Express or anything. So I was really excited. So, in fact, I just sent AK Mike his Christmas gift that way. Anyway, long story short, I didn't get that guy's gift, and I went back and I was looking at the ads, and all of a sudden a guy came up, and he had a Telemaster. Senior Telemaster, and I've always wanted one, and it was perfect. He wanted nothing for it, and I said, I'll take it. And a really nice guy, his name's Randy. Turns out the guy lives in the same town I do, or used to. His family ran the biggest bar that was in town. He turns out that he knows everybody, it seems, that I know in town, which isn't a lot, but it was really funny because I was trying to describe where I fly, and he's like, "Oh, I used to live near there, and I had a house over there, and you're flying at, this field." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly where I'm flying." And so it was just funny. He goes, "Well, how are you dealing with all the cow patties?" And I'm like, "Luckily, there are no cows out in the pasture anymore. It's just llamas." So
llama.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the llamas are over in another fenced area, so they don't really come over.
Patty, right?
But they like to watch you fly because I've been there when they've been looking out over.
Oh yeah.
They go, one of those weird things.
Yeah, it's just funny how this guy knows everybody I know, and in fact, the kit that I'm picking up was a kit that he had gotten a couple of years ago, had never finished it because it pretty much it's ready to be covered, and he never covered it or anything, and kind of sat on the kit. And you know how that goes. You buy something, oh boy, I want it, and then you don't finish it. Anyway, he
gee, I wonder what you're talking about. Right sitting back here with my
door. I'm looking around at your room right now. The guy who originally owned the model lives like a couple houses down from me, so it's kind of funny how this model moved, a little ways across Texas and is back.
Yeah, so, it went all the way around the state and then came right back to its location, didn't it?
Pretty much. So Randy's a real nice guy. It's always loved models. He's a bit of a tinkerer. And as he said, he's not very good at the RC portion of this hobby. But,
doesn't like to fly.
Yeah, he just loves building. And you and I have both met guys like that. They love to build planes.
Sure.
Flying, not so much. That's just a skill they don't have. They're not too great at. But he's big into. He likes little park flyers, and he was like, man, these things are awesome. They weigh nothing. They don't break. And I get to fly. For a little bit, not damage anything. And of course, he told me a couple of very funny stories about, this guy. He's a rancher and he's owned some property and he's out in a big 30-acre field and there's like one tree way over there. And
oh no, I can see the writing on the wall here.
Exactly. Takes off, loses control. The antenna isn't in all the way. And where does that tree, where's that plane head to? Straight for the one tree that's taller than any ladder that he has, type of thing. Yeah. So
don't hit the tree. I hit the tree.
right into the tree. God, he missed.
Oh, and I only have a 10-foot ladder and it's 13 feet in the air. So now I got to get a broomstick.
Exactly. So that's what I've been doing this week. I've just been getting a couple of things. So I have a new project, a Telemaster, 9-foot.
Very cool.
Telemaster.
That is very cool. I know you've always wanted one of those, and this is in just the perfect stage because now you can tell us, give us updates, and we can talk about your covering project and how that's going to go, and your electronics and all of that stuff. And it sounds like Randy didn't want nothing for it; he wanted something because you gave him some money.
Something. But he let it go at a very reasonable price. So I was very happy.
Nice, very cool.
So.
Well, that's a good Christmas gift that you happened upon.
And it's just what I wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
No returns.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, this year I think we parted from the norm and we got each other some gifts that were not RC related. So we really don't have to spend any time on it.
Yeah, it was a very weird year.
It was a weird year.
Like I said, normally by the end of the year, I've kind of deduced like what you need, what would be good for you,
right.
What, being at your house, I saw something, And this year I wasn't able to get out to your place. And even though you've told a bazillion stories to me and, this year it got to be this time, that November-ish time of the year, October-ish. Yeah. I didn't have a clue, brother. It was weird. I didn't have a clue. And then I finally got you a little something. And then right after I got it for you, tons of ideas, tons of things were coming to me. I could have gotten this. I could have gotten.
Yeah, you got to clarify that. It was after you sent it to me and I received it that you all of a sudden got all these ideas. Because had you bought it and then kept it at your house and then gotten the ideas, I'm sure I would have got something else. But as it turned out, it was kind of a weird Christmas. I did the same thing that Jay and I normally have figured out. We've been around for 30 plus years and we've kind of figured out what each other needs. And, we surprise each other occasionally and be like, oh, I need this. We talk about it. And then we, eventually we get it for one another and we're pretty good about sending planes or whatever. But exactly what you said this year, I was in my head. I'm thinking, oh, I really need to get Mike and Jay something for Christmas. And what can I get them? So this year I was kind of like, looking around. Our last episode, we talked about the, Secret Santa, which we'll kind of go into. But because of the contacts that I made at Secret Santa, they kind of turned me on to a couple of companies that participated in the Secret Santa. And I will give them a shout out. One of them is RA Cores, and they do little flat foamies. And the other one is West Michigan Park Flyers. Both of them will participate. They'll actually send the Secret Santa gift out to the individual. And then, don't open till Christmas kind of thing. Originally, I was looking at all of their stuff in an effort to find, something for my Secret Santa or for my victim. And I came across these airplanes and I thought, oh, you know what I really should get them? I should really get them some flat foamies. That way I can order some lights and they can fly these things, at night. And so I did. Thanks to RA Cores, I bought a pair of flat foamies and got everything with them, and they're all ready to go. They're sitting here right next to my desk around a week before Christmas. And what happens? You and I get together and start chit chatting about what are we going to get Mike, and Mike asked me, what are you going to get Jay? And next thing you know, I realized I got you the same exact gift last year. Identical. It's still sitting. It's still sitting in the box. You haven't even opened it yet. Anyway, I don't know what I was thinking. I think it's because you guys never really built the other ones. You had other projects, and I got you those things, and you didn't.
I tried to build that model that unfortunately our listeners can't see it, but pointing to it in the picture to Mike. But you came to the house and I said to you, hey man, do you want to put this together? Because we were putting planes together and different stuff. So the times that you came here, I brought it up, put it down and said, hey man, what, you want to throw this together? I got all the lights for it and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, we'll get to that. And then we did something else.
True.
So I had two or three times while you were here to let's throw this thing together.
It just never clicked in my head.
This is the thing of getting older, right? Because you can't say that you had no clue. Because we did talk about it. I have the other box over here of stuff, and I say, hey man, because I didn't go up to your place, I had this stuff all boxed up and ready to go, so we could slap it together when we got to your house.
Right.
And we should put that thing together. So that's just funny.
I know it. So anyway, I wound up actually building one of the RA Cores for myself and put lights on it and posted, I think, on our
you posted it to the Facebook
for the Facebook page, and actually got some comments on it, and they were all everybody was kind of excited about it, and so I got a lot of good comments, and everybody thought hey, this is a pretty good idea, and so anyway, as a result, I had to wind up getting something for you guys that was outside of the RC world. So anyway, I wound up getting some pretty cool gifts for you guys and sent them all down. I got you some 3D printer stuff, and I got Mike something for his paraglider. So he was all excited about that.
Actually.
Yeah, thanks.
He was floored.
Yeah, I think he was kind of surprised. So
he was floored by that. So you got me a two or three reels of filament film, which was filament.
That's correct.
Plastic. So that was nice. One was a wood-based one,
right,
which was nice because then I was able to print out a bunch of stuff for the wife. So she enjoyed that. And then you gave me some silver, right? Silver. That's right. Correct. I have the gray and
aluminum type. Yeah.
Aluminum. There you go. So that was kind of nice. So you can always use reels of filament. That's for sure. And then of course I got AK Mike. I wanted to bring somebody into the fold to enjoy the evilness of 3D printing. Once again, I happened to just bump into this printer, and it was perfect. I got it. I bought, once again, I was on Craigslist, and this guy was selling a brand new printer, and I snagged this thing, and it's kind of a little portable deal. It's called Monoprice Mini Delta, and it's different style of printer than what I have. Very cool. So I pimped it all up for Mike, because the idea was, hey, I'll add all the things that, you want to add to the printer to make it easier to print with and make it more accurate. So I took it, I calibrated the machine, I figured it all out. I got the bed super level. I printed out all little extra parts to make the printer work super great. And then I was like, well, gee, this thing, it's not like it weighs a lot because it was small, but still, I'm like, man, this may cost me more to mail it than what it cost for me to have, buy it. Right. So I just was tinking around online and I saw that FedEx Ground from here to here to Dallas. It was only going to cost like $10 to ship it. And I was like, holy crap. And it was going to get there in one day. I was amazed.
Right. Yeah. It's not that far.
So I was stoked. So I packed it all up in a box. I stuffed it full of paper and bubble wrap and all that kind of stuff. Taped it all up, not super glued, but I hot glued the box lid shut and everything. Sent it up to Mike, made sure he was going to be home to get it. And he gets the thing. He's all stoked. He plugs it in and the gorillas at FedEx Ground shook. They must have had a machine like one of those paint shakers for mixing paint.
Sure.
They must have put it in something like that and just shook it.
Wow.
Because everything was wrong. It shook so hard that there's a fan that's inside of it, the machine, that keeps the motherboard cool. It shook it so hard it broke it loose from its mounts inside the machine. And I was like, really? and so with that thing bouncing around in there, it unplugged a bunch of stuff. And so the printer was all jacked up. And, basically it took Mike about a good week and a half of, me talking to him on the phone and going on a Facebook page and, reading about stuff and watching YouTube videos that we finally got it all sorted out and it's printing now. But I was super stoked to have him get this thing and not have to do anything, just plug it in and have it, perfect prints. And oh my gosh, it was hard. It was making horrible noises and screeching. And I was just
thanks for the gift, Jay. It's perfect.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Thanks for the gumball, mister. Yeah,
well, if it's any consolation, I will tell you, having worked in that industry fairly early in my career, that, FedEx, when they get towards Christmas, there's so much going out that, they really can't carry it all. And they do subcontract out. So you may have gotten a subcontractor that didn't quite have the love and care for your package that maybe FedEx does. I haven't really had that many issues with FedEx, but you may have gotten one of those third-party vendors that just didn't care.
The video of the guy delivering a TV set and he chucks it over the fence.
Yes, that would be him. Ace Ventura, I think, as he drop kicks your box all around.
That was definitely what happened with this one. It was nothing was seriously broken. It just, like I said, just unplugged everything and we had to figure it all back out. The good news is, since Mike has had to rebuild everything, he has a good fundamental understanding of how the machine works.
Yes, so that's fantastic. Fantastic. So, well, and then Mike, unfortunately, he's off sailing around wherever he is, the world somewhere, and having a loads of fun, and probably be back later this week. However, he what I sent him was it's a camera mount to trail behind his paramotor. So it basically holds multiple different cameras, and you kind of use it as a string. It's what'd you call it? It's a birdie. That's the proper name of it.
Right.
And it's a camera mount with a birdie, so it looks like a badminton if you play badminton in college, whatever, birdie. And anyway, it flies along behind his paramotor. So he can, use about 25 feet of cord, and then it ties off, and then it just drags it or whatever he wants, and it can film behind his paramotor, because we've heard all about it. He constantly is talking about flying his paramotor, but we haven't really technically. I think we saw a small phone video, and that was it. So this will
for him flying to the ground.
Yes, exactly. And I think Philip up there, Philip Hinkle told us that if we sent him the video, he could put the flames to it, but and we decided against it. Anyway, I got him that, and he was just ecstatic. He thought that was the coolest thing ever, and he'll probably mention it when we redo do our next episode. He'll bring us up to speed if he's used it or not. But so we were excited about that. The big thing this year was the TCCSS, which is the Crash Cast Secrets Santa project. And I know we talked a little bit about it on our last episode, but that was Christmas Eve, and we were not allowed to open up our gifts yet. And so now that it's the new year, and we've kind of gone through Christmas and New Year's, and you and I can kind of chit chat about this whole project. And I have to say that on Facebook, on their Facebook pages, everybody at Christmas time was running around, thank you. And they were sending out their cool stuff. And, it was kind of neat to see the guys that, you knew or that were victims. And I got a nice little letter from my Secret Santa that said, this is how the project got started and we're welcome aboard kind of thing. And I think that coming up next year, we probably should, if, they would like to have more participants, I would have to check with Barb and her crew. But I think it'd be, kind of fun to mention it next, this year at the end of the year and see how many other people we could get kind of involved in it. It is done for Michael Crash Hancock, who was he owned the Crash Cast, and then as we heard on the last podcast, they kind of, he got sick and passed, and then they do this every year in his memory.
Right, honor. Yeah.
So I know that R.A. Coors sent a bunch of stuff out because he was posting it. Hey, I got something from here, and I had purchased something from him already. But I got something from West Michigan Park Flyers. And it's kind of interesting because all the guys that I fly with on Tuesday mornings, the guys that I fly out the park with, most of those guys started out learning to fly on West Michigan Park Flyers. So I have flown several different variants. I flew the Yak 55. They have another one called the McFoamy. They have an MX2. And so I was able to fly those many, many years, probably 5 years back, from the guys at my club whenever I was tweaking them. And then when we went to Holly Springs, I was able to fly another one in their, I think they call it a Mako, it's a Mako seaplane or Mako Mini or whatever, but the one of the guys out there had it, and he let me fly it there too. So I've flown the airplanes from West Michigan, but I've never owned one. And so now I do. I own the McFoamy, and they gave it to me unpainted, so I get to put a custom paint job on it, which is pretty exciting. So I promised that I would give them a shout out along with R.A. Coors. I did a custom paint job on the R.A. Coors Extra. You can go to our website, Facebook listeners page. It's the Park Flyer Podcast listeners group. Join if you haven't already, and you can see some of my pictures posted there. But I did tell the guys at the Secret Santa that I would, go ahead and document my paint scheme and what I wanted to do with it, and then kind of give everybody a heads up. So that's pretty exciting. I really have to send another shout out to Lane of Lane's Planes for kind of coming up with the support idea. And I think that they basically said that they had put it together, and he supports them. He does a lot of their Secret Santa stuff too. So West Michigan, R.A. Coors, Lane's Planes, Barb over there, and Tim Walker for joining us on the podcast. So I have to give a shout out. It was a great project. It was a great set of holidays. I really enjoyed kind of seeing what everybody got. And it was funny to watch all of the comments that people would make about their Secret Santas, And so it was kind of cool. I was showing my wife, I'm like, oh, look here, this guy and this guy and this guy all got something. So everybody seemed to be very excited, with the exception of Nick Turner. Nick, for some reason, something got crossed in the mix, and he wound up, his wife opened his gift, and then there was another box coming. Anyway, he kept texting me stuff. So, Nick, I know you're a listener, and it was fun to listen to you back and forth, trying to get out, underneath this Santa project. So it was very, very cool.
It's too funny.
Hopefully, we're going to have more of those guys on the podcast. I know we've reached out to some of them, and we've got some good topics this year, some good projects, and I know we've reached out to a couple of guys that have done some really cool builds. We should be able to talk to them, and we've got the Electric Festival coming up next month, so we have several episodes from that as well. So we've got already a good. What's that? I know, right?
You said, "Geez, right already."
Yeah, I think Winter Warbirds. So
did you actually build the plane yet?
I have not. We were in California over the holidays, and of course, we just got back this week. So I have not had a chance.
That's a little unusual for you.
Yeah, I know. It was pretty unusual, but no, we got back, and I have a friend of mine that I used to well, actually, he's still a friend of mine. We've hung out some and, done real airplane stuff. And his little brother got interested in RC stuff. And so he suggested that he call me. And so he called me up and was interested. And, he bought an airplane and he's trying to get it all fixed up. And so I brought him out to the club and just a couple of days ago. And we got to reset up his airplane. He did a really good job putting it all together, but there was some things that, his servo arms were really small. And when you pulled it all the way over, it would lock out, the control surfaces.
Right. Yeah.
So we needed a little extra, and then we had some slop in there. So we fixed it all, and a couple of the guys got out there and they made the airplane for him. I think Spencer flew it around and trimmed it all out. And so now he's had several flights on it. I've kind of put myself out there for him and, said, hey, look, if you need to go out to the field or whatever, because he's got a place to fly it, but this is much better when he's got people on the runway and, people to watch him. Otherwise, he's just kind of out doing it by himself, and I don't want him to crash his new gift. So he came out to the club, and we've gone out there once or twice. So I haven't had a chance to really honestly, we just got back, and so I spent, the 2 days since we've gotten back out at the field and haven't had a chance to unpack my bags from our trip and get my new airplane started. So, and the other thing is that I'm interested to try to figure out what kind of paint job I want to put on this one.
Oh, okay. So it came plain Jane then?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So they understood that, I can paint. And like I said, I did the one from RA Cores. And so I think they sent me one that's not painted so that I can go ahead and paint it whatever color I want. So I'm scratching my head and trying to think, what can I do? Maybe if you have a suggestion, after this podcast comes out, you can shoot me an email at parkflyerpodcast@gmail.com, or you can jump on our listeners group at post something on there, give me an idea of what kind of paint job you think.
What kind of scheme you need.
Yeah, what kind of scheme I should put on there. Because now I've painted a couple of different airplanes, and I got one more from RA Cores that I got to paint. So, but I have turned most of my flat foamies into night flyers. So I think when everybody gets here for the Electric Festival, all three of us should have a night flyer. So that should be
that'll
good.
be nice.
Get out there.
Hey, what about an Arizona theme?
An Arizona theme?
Yeah.
You mean like the Arizona flag, or just the colors that they're
sure, like the Arizona flag? That that'd be pretty bright and
yeah, I might be able to
put on there.
It's funny you say that because I did
wing.
think about that. I really did. I was thinking about what kind of things. So, well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and throw that out there. And if you have an idea or something that you'd like to see, or just a theme or whatever, just send us a note and let me know, and I'll see what we can do. Or send me a color scheme. Like tell me, oh yeah, you should paint it purple and green or yellow and bright blue or whatever. Whatever you can kind of send my way. But Park Flyer Podcast Listeners Group on Facebook, or send us the email at parkflyerpodcast@gmail.com. Either way, I will take it all into consideration and see what I can put together. I think it'll be kind of cool. So what else is new for 2020? We have a brand new website.
Ooh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you were working on it right at the end of the year. Right before we were supposed to, I think, put out our last podcast for the year, and then you were trying to schmooze that all out, and things, of course, weren't going smoothly.
I know it.
So,
it just kind of stunk.
Right.
So, yeah. So originally, when we set this up several seasons ago, I actually was looking around, and we use WordPress for our website, and so if there's any WordPress users out there, I do have a couple of questions that I need some help on. So reach out to me. But yeah, I try to, work. I'm not really a website guru, but I know just enough to get myself in trouble. Well, I found originally I found a blog website. It was really meant for blogs. And that's what we had been, kind of on this whole time. And so we would have to go through and post, here's the blog side and here's the podcast side, the episode side, that kind of thing. Well, because it's a blog, when they archived your blog, it just went into storage. You really couldn't access it. And some of the guys that, have emailed us and kind of reached out to us have said, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you guys had, a podcast and would like to listen to some of your earlier episodes. If you're on iTunes, you can go out there and, find them. But if you were just going to the website, you could only go back, one season.
I think it's a year.
Yeah, for pretty much a year. So I was like, we got to do something different about that. And as a result, I looked around and I found a website, the one we have now, that's specific for podcasts. They built it specifically for podcasts. So the way it's laid out is all episode, versions, and they do really good with the pictures and all that kind of good stuff. And so anyway, I downloaded it and I was looking through it and I was trying to manipulate it to be able to, work on it and then put it live at the beginning of the year. As a result, in my infinite wisdom, I clicked the button to transfer. And in reality, what it did is it downloaded. I thought it was going to download the pages that I needed, but it downloaded the website it downloaded the new theme to the website as it was going live, which I didn't expect it to go live right away because normally you can work inside it and then publish the pages. Well, this one downloaded everything. So all of the what do they call that? The demo pages, they don't really have anything on them. They're a pluribus unum and a bunch of Latin, terms or whatever. Right. It went to our viewers. It sent out, 35 pages of blogs, episode pages. And I have it, on the website, it forwards. So when one of our episodes get released, it goes out to anybody that's subscribing it. And I know we have subscribers, so I had to send out an apology to my subscribers because all of a sudden their phones or iPads or computers or whatever were blowing up with a bunch of weird pages. And I did get a couple of responses. They were like, yeah, it happens to us. It seems when it's going good and it never, it doesn't or whatever. So now, we have a new website. It looks really good. I like it. If you find something on there that's not working correctly, please let us know. I'm still in the process of updating it and getting everything, all the links to work. The Facebook page should take, the little link for Facebook should take you to our listeners page so you can join it. The other big thing that we had kind of gotten to talking about is just the cost of doing the podcast. And coming into our new season, we did pick up some new equipment. It is, does kind of cost money, and we've been self-funding this. But I wanted to give our listeners a chance to help out if they could, because someone reached out to me and said, hey, do you have a donate page or a Patreon page or whatever? And I said, no. And he said, well, you should really have one. So we did. On our new website, we have a donate button. You can donate any amount, and every little bit helps. So if you like what you hear and you are feeling that you want to help us out with just the cost, most of that's going to go straight to hosting the web, website hosting, or we use Blueberry, so it's a couple bucks a month and $20 or $30 a month for our episodes, and then the website and that kind of thing. So yes, I have a new donate button. It's a PayPal, so you just click on it, put as much as you want in there, goes right to our PayPal account. We can use that to pay for some of the web hosting, and we appreciate it as much as
you betcha.
As much as we do. And, we had this conversation with Tim at the last, Tim Walker, when he joined us, and he was like, yeah, it's a big undertaking. So we've gotten much better at it, but we are getting bigger, and that's going to have a little more cost associated with it, with some of the new things, with the new website and that kind of thing. So, we would appreciate it if you feel the need. Every little bit helps. So those are the new things for 2020. Unless you had something else. Didn't get new music or anything, but.
Well, I mean, I know we have a bunch of new interviews coming up.
We do, mention those.
So I mean, I can already think of like three people, because I know we didn't get to at least two other people who did podcasts that we wanted to talk to and have on the show. It just,
that's true.
Life kind of caught up with us, and we needed to have those guys on. So we're definitely going to have them on this year. You have found one or two interesting individuals who have built some interesting airplanes and such. We're going to have on as well.
That's true. We've got a couple other people that have kind of reached out to us and, talked to us about it. So, I think we're getting excited. If you are coming over from the Crashcast or Angle of Attack or any of the other podcasts that may have, fallen by the wayside, we welcome you. And are always willing to listen to our, any input you have from as a listener. So
yeah, that's another big thing.
Yeah.
Anybody has any input for us or any advice or not advice, but suggestions for shows or things they want to hear about. That's one thing that really helps us out because, with the amount of shows that we have, we kind of tend to forget what we've talked about before or what people want to know, about something. I know like coming up here as well, one of the couple of topics coming up here is going to be with we're going to be talking about the FAA, and some of the things that are coming down through Congress.
That's true. Yeah. There's
not too pretty, but anyway, that's going to be
a couple of
pretty
those
interesting
things
to talk about.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I will tell you that my Secret Santa gave you some grief. He sent me a little note that says, P.S. In the hobby world, ESC is the word for electronic speed controller.
Yes,
so once
electronic
again,
speed controller.
It's
Not
once
escape.
again the use of escape, and it's pretty funny to hear it. I can't believe how much this is generated just using the word escape. It's pretty funny. But anyway, we love it. We appreciate it. And we are always willing to take a jab. So, wink, wink,
Exactly.
nudge, nudge.
So have you been flying lately? Sounds like you've gotten a little bit of flying in.
I have done a little bit of flying. Of course, we were gone for the week between Christmas and New Year's. But when I got back, I've been out to the field a couple of times. The first time I went out, I didn't take very much because I was helping Pat, the new guy I was just telling you about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were fixing his airplane. So I did kind of like what you did. I took the whole trailer. I took everything out, charged all my batteries, went out there, spent the whole day working with him, which was totally fine. I went out there for him and to kind of fly. But I just, it's kind of like I spent most of my time, trying to take care of him because he was new. And then the second time I went out there, yesterday, today, whenever it was, I got to fly, or I took everything out to fly and totally walked out with my radio sitting in the garage. So I pulled the J.
Whoops.
And we got all the way to the field, realized we didn't have what we needed. Everybody kind of made fun of me, poked fun of me and said, oh yeah, we've never done that before, which every person out there has done it. Wing spars left at home.
The nice part for you is that even though you forgot your stuff, Mike, was that there was people out there with stuff, so you still could get to fly and do something. So.
Which I did, right? Yep. And actually, Spencer had asked me to bring some soldering ends for his plane and batteries or whatever, and so I brought him some of that, some of the things that he needed. And as a result, I told him, I was like, it's your fault because I had this in my hand. I had to go back in the house and get it to bring it out, and I totally forgot to grab my radio and my batteries. So, that was the other thing. I left my battery case out there. The new nice little battery, carry all that I got.
Yeah, the one I've seen the pictures of. Look at this. Ooh, and I leave it at home.
I know, right? I got for those of you wondering, yeah, exactly. For those of you wondering, I got a Milwaukee Pack Out. You can get it at Home Depot for about $199. My wife bought it for me for Christmas, not for my tools, but for my RC world. Mainly, I think she got it for me so I could move all my stuff out of the office because I got a lot of stuff in.
Yeah. There's another little thing she's trying to tell you. But.
Yeah, there's an underlying theme there. So in the meantime, my son was looking for something, and I carry a little green bag, and that bag has gotten a little small for my, now I'm up to about 7 or 8 or 9, 5,000 milliamp batteries, and putting them all in that bag, they don't really fit.
Well, you got to back up. So before your son got you the gift, tell him the other gift that he was going to get you. He was going to get you a shirt, clothing.
Oh, yeah. So my son, this is totally off topic, but it is funny. For those of you that have kids, my son is 26. He's married and has his own, family, but he is a workout. I mean, he's a gym rat. He works out all the time. He's really buff and he's in really great fitness. And anyway, he shops at Lululemon. I don't know if you know that store.
Yeah,
but anyway,
you might want to tell the folks what that is because I didn't know what the heck that was.
So Lululemon is I guess it's a yoga place. Lululemon. I always thought it was a woman's hair. Because of the symbol that they use. It's a red circle with this little symbol. It looks like a looks like some lady's hair. But anyway, I thought it was that until my wife pointed out that because she, does, yoga stuff. And basically she said, no, that's a yoga pose. That little, hair looking thing. And
like
I was
the downward dog thing.
Yeah. Whatever it is. anyway, I was like, oh, well, my son, since he works out, they have a bunch of workout clothes and he has found them and he really, really likes, wearing that stuff. So anyway, I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'1" and, pretty broad shoulders, and I'm not built like a yoga instructor. I'm built more like a linebacker.
You're quite the opposite of that.
I have linebacker style features, a little heavier set guy. And, thanks to, the Christmas holidays, I was probably even, more round Santa Claus-ish. And so he tells my wife, oh, you got to take Dad over to Lululemon because I'm going to get him some, some shirts and stuff. So basically I walked into Lululemon and it was packed. And I asked the lady, where's your fat section? And she just kind of looked at me with this disgusted look on her face, like, we don't have one of those. And she goes, what are you looking for? And I said, a shirt. She's like, oh, they're over here. And needless to say, after 10 minutes of, wrangling shirts off the thing, I realized that nothing in this store was ever going to fit me. And
considering that if I was going to buy you clothing, Michael, I would go to Tractor Supply. So
absolutely, yeah. So yeah, I mean, or Omar the tent maker or whoever. I mean,
there you go. Wear those coveralls. Yeah, there you go, sir. Thank you.
That's right. Well, the funny part is I'm really fond of Columbia shirts. I really like them.
Right.
The fishing shirts, and they're wear loose and I, I'm in Phoenix most of the time. So even today it was nice and cool outside. Everybody was laughing because it snowed the other day, and I'm in shorts and, a pullover and a little, not a sweater, but just kind of like a fleece pullover. Yeah. And everybody's like, aren't you cold? And I'm like, no, I'm a heavy set guy. I mean, I don't really get freezing cold. And anyway, so, I told him, if you wanted to get me something, go to the Bass Pro Shop or get me something, something a man could wear, not Lululemon stuff. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
My wife laughed. My son was feeling like, oh, I don't know what to get him now. And so anyway, my wife in her infinite wisdom said, this is what I got your father, right? This pack out. And it comes with all these accessories. And you know what he really needs? He needs this. And she sent him a picture of it. And so he goes, yeah, that's a good idea. Buy him that. So he wound up getting me the tote. It's a big, 2-gallon tote, and it fits all my batteries on one side, and it fits all my tools on the other side. Oh, so needless to say, I am very happy, and it snaps into the top of the pack out so I can move it around without it falling over. It's very sturdy. It's very similar to yours, but yours is round, and mine is square. Mine's rectangular. So, but it's got, pockets in it like yours does where you can line everything up, and I can literally put all my 6-cell batteries standing up, and they'll take up the whole other side. But I will tell you, with all those batteries in there, that thing is heavy.
Yeah.
So
you might have to oversize the wheels.
Well, no, just the battery tote itself. When I stick it on there.
Well, no, I'm just saying because you live in the desert. Last time I checked, and it's not smooth everywhere you go.
No, but the wheels that they have on this are kind of off-roadish anyway.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at. Because usually they have those smallish wheels, hard plastic, smallish wheels.
Yeah,
once you try to drag that over gravel,
right?
You are literally dragging over gravel because the wheels can't spin.
Right.
So.
Well, this is a harder plastic style, like what you're talking about, but they're big. Mm-hmm. They're big, fat. Okay. They're big and they're fat, and because it's made from Milwaukee tools, it's meant to be dragged through a job site. Okay. So they kind of made it to where it it can support the weight, and it's got a little retractable handle, and you can kind of pull around. But anyway, I had it at the field right after Christmas, and everybody was like, "Wow, look at this thing!" Because it's all stacked up and together, and everybody's like, making comments about it. I was like, yeah, that's my wife's way of saying, get your stuff,
organize your stuff,
and get it out of my house, and move it into somewhere else. So now it is sitting in the back of my truck, and that way, if I go to the field, it's ready to go, and it locks. So all I have to do is unlock it and carry one of the totes, if whatever tote that is. So
pretty neat, man. I can't wait to see it when I come out.
So I actually wound up after Christmas going back and buying another section of it. And so now I have a place for all my glues, tapes, all that stuff that goes into these little bins. The hardest part now is just remembering where I put everything, because somebody will go, "Hey, do you have one of these?" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, where is that?" I have to pull each one off and look for it. Oh, here it is. So, but I tried to organize it, where I have like all my gas stuff, my turbine stuff, and then all my parts and glues and that kind of thing. So it'll probably take me a couple of times, and I might have to buy one or two more items to kind of slap on it. But I really like it so far. Milwaukee Pack Out is the name of it, and you can look it up online. But it's kind of cool. I've really enjoyed it.
Well, like I said, I look forward to checking it out when I come out for the Electric Festival.
Yes, because it will definitely come to us. Now, unfortunately, I still have a lot of those little bins, that we carried out there last time, the little that have all my hardware. I haven't transferred. I like those because they're 40 compartment, and I have each one of the compartments kind of labeled. And
dude, you have a lot of crap.
I do.
So
I have a whole store. Actually.
You're not gonna have one container or one modular unit that's going to carry all your stuff.
Yeah. Well, but the good news is that it's kind of all organized to this point. I still have some stuff laying around that I got to figure out what to do with, but I went out to the field the other day and somebody goes, "Hey, do you have any tape, or do you have this, or do you have that?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's right here." Put it out there. So
you're getting to be known as that guy.
That's got everything.
Go ask Moan. He's got it.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Until you go, "Hey, I need some." I don't have any more tape.
Right,
Where'd
exactly.
Tape go? Where'd all my connectors
go?
It
was funny because when I was out at the field, we have a little kid. His name's Gunner, and it's Mark's kid, and he's got a little timber. He flies out there, and he's having a blast. He's out there all the time, and he comes running up to me, and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Moon, do you have some clear tape?" And I go, "Well, who's asking?" And he goes, "My dad." And I was like, "Okay. I just wanted to make sure you just weren't running over here and taping everybody, If it's for some reason, I'll give it to you." So Mark was standing by the table, and I walked over there and said, "Hey." He goes, "What?" I said, "Did you not hear me say, 'Here's my clear tape,' whenever I walked up, because I had some Blenderm in one of the containers?" And I was like, "Oh, here's my Blenderm. I've been looking for this for like a month, and it's in this container." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I do remember you saying that." And I go, "Yeah, it's right here behind you. You had to send your kid down the flight line to get me, and all he had to do was do a 180-degree turn. It was sitting right on the table." So it was pretty funny. But anyway, we like having him out there. He's a good kid. So, and,
nice.
It's always good to have kids out there, and especially those that are excited, because he loves to come fly.
Right. That's nice to hear, dude, as opposed to, "Can we go home?"
I know. I'm
can't
ready to
believe
go
you
home,
drugged me
Dad.
out here.
Well, the fun part is that he's getting better and better. And I asked his dad, actually. I asked his dad the other day when we were out there together. I said, "Hey, does he want to fly the L-39? And of course, his dad looked at me and went, "Absolutely not." And I was kind of like, "Why? You don't think he's good enough?" And his dad goes, "No, I don't want to buy a new one if something happens, And I'm like, "Oh, nothing's going to happen." He's like, "Yeah, story of my life, right? Anytime I put my kid on something and then he wrecks it, I was like, we could buddy box him. And he's like, "No, not yet. He's still trying to get used to the timber." But there's those of us that are out there that are like, "Hey, you want to try and fly this?" And, I wound up letting Pat fly the L-39. He had never flown an EDF ever, kind of like Mike. And I put him on the sticks, and within about 2 or 3 flights, he was taking off and landing by himself. So it was pretty exciting to watch him do that. So, wow, it was it's been a good week. I have done, answer your question, long-winded, but I have done some flying since I've been back in the last couple of days, and it's been fun. Been cold.
Well, have you done any park flying with the guys at the park?
You know what? It was raining before I left, and then it was raining the day I got back. So both times that I was supposed to go out to fly, it was just pouring down rain, and they said, "Yeah, we're going to skip it." So I haven't been out, but I did send them an email that said I'm back in town, and I do have some new park flyers that I'm going to bring out to the field. So I got a whole boatload of Pulse batteries that I bought.
Oh, okay.
The small ones.
I'm kind of curious as to what they got for Christmas, because usually they around this time
that's true.
"Where's Mike? We need somebody to fly our planes or made in some planes." So I figured you'd
yes,
be doing a bunch of
and
that.
that's true. And I this probably actually when this comes out is a Tuesday. I think I may be out there at the field when this comes out, but I did get an email that said, I think there were some new gifts under the tree, and they're probably putting them together now, and that usually takes a week or two. So we'll see when they get them done. Get to go out there and fly some more airplanes.
Very nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I haven't heard much. I know you've just with your schedule just haven't been able to get out to hang out with the Park Flyer guys, but
right.
They're always very cool, and I've just haven't heard any shenanigans stories from you. And I was just wondering, what was going on with those guys?
No. Like I said, it's been raining. Unfortunately, it rained. It rained the whole time.
Arizona.
Yeah, it rained the whole time I was gone. So most of those guys.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah, it is really strange to be raining in Phoenix. We don't really get that much
Tuesdays,
but I don't know. It's wintertime, so what do you know? There's snow up in the mountains, in case you're wondering. It does snow in Arizona.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very odd to envision it, but snows for a day and then it disappears. That's the great part about it. You might have to get your broom out and shovel with the broom, and then the next day it's vapor.
I know, right? Last year I sent Jay a little video, and I said, "Hey, look, it's snowing." And of course, it was at nighttime, and he sends me an email back or a little video back that says, "Yeah, it looks like dust flying around out there." So about the next morning, we had 10 inches of snow, and so I sent him a picture of it that said, "Hey, I got 10 inches of dust on my table." So we actually did get snow at least in my house here in the valley. So
right,
that was kind of cool. Yeah, it was neat.
Well, very neat. And like I said, you only have to wait. You don't even have to shovel it. You just wait, and it disappears. That's my kind of winter.
Yeah, that is your kind of winter.
That's my kind of winter.
Just kind of wait and it'll melt off.
Oh, I threw my back out.
Exactly. That is one
thing I don't miss from moving from Alaska down here, and that is the first snowfall, and then everybody hurting themselves from shoveling the driveways for the first time, or the amount of heart attacks people are having during that first snow when they go out there and try to shovel the whole thing and have a heart attack or pull something or slip and fall. It's just amazing, just the injuries on that first snow with everybody up there. You think that we'd know better, but nope, gets them every time.
That's crazy. Well, it'd be kind of, you guys actually have those machines that you can move snow blowers, I think you call it, or something like that. The big vacuum cleaners.
Yep. I highly recommend it for anybody who's going to go live up there. So
yeah, well, we don't have those down here because you would be literally use it one time. And the amount of rocks, dirt, and cactus that went through it.
Yeah, I think they call them rototillers down here where you live.
A rototiller, yeah, something like that. That's too funny.
Nope. So I don't miss that, and shoveling my roof off. That's something else I don't miss.
We don't have to do that here either.
So
good news. Well, I got my new membership card from the AMA. So that's exciting. Yep. So I'm good for another year. And so if you haven't already, normally you renew it at the beginning of the year. And it's probably something you should do. Not you personally, I guess, but most of our listeners.
Well, no, I do need to do that.
Oh.
I just, last year I was a little lax and just wasn't out flying and stuff with my mom. And also I just never renewed. And, you tend to, right out of my head. And like I said, I don't want to show up at the festival and go, oh.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've done that before where we were on our way to the Electric Festival and you were like, oh no. It was pretty funny. I think not last year before, maybe 2 years ago, we actually registered Jay on the way to the event. It was fairly humorous. He was like, oh man, I don't have my, I didn't realize it expired.
Yeah, these things happen.
But we'll get you registered, and then I guess we got to register for. I actually already have registered for the Electric Festival, so if you haven't done that, mark that on your calendar. I got Winter Warbirds at the end of this month, and then I guess 2 weekends after that we have the Electric Festival, and we're excited to see everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm really stoked. Since I missed it last year, I'm really looking forward to doing it this year.
Well, it's supposed to be big, so we'll have to see what happens.
Bigger, better.
It'll be good.
Be there.
It's always bigger and better. And I think and this time I will actually bring a little bit heavier coat. Last year it was really nice on Thursday, and then it got really cold on Friday, Saturday, and Mike and I were both freezing. And
Really?
We usually stay in, like the RV, and Mike was on one end, I was on the other, and we kept fighting with the thermostat. He would get cold and turn it up. I was out there dying. I'd turn it down. He'd turn it back up. And finally we were like, you know what? If you're cold, switch with me, because I'm burning up.
So he was being the chick. I'm freezing. It's too hot. Or whichever,
We were like an old married couple who just kept fighting over the thermostat. I'm like, leave it alone. And then it was terrible because the very first day I jumped up and I took the coldest shower in the world. And Mike was like, how come you didn't turn the hot water on? I go, I did turn it on. It never got warm. And so Mike walked out and said, oh, that's because the gas isn't on. So he turned it on and he got the hot shower. I was like, this isn't fair. I had to take a cold shower and he's in there all nice and toasty.
Oh, man.
But we figured it all out. So it was a good time. We had a really, really good time. So we're looking forward to that.
I'm really looking forward to coming out and having a good time. So,
yeah, exactly.
Let's see. In fact, so you're going to already have the planes built for us, so I don't need to bring my plane out there then. For
you shouldn't.
Stuff.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, you could bring it out if you wanted, but you'll just have to. We could ship it back, or you could take it back. And I mean, I already have. Like I said, I bought 2, and I got one for Christmas, and I got the other one that I got last year. So
right.
I've got 4 that we could use. And if you bring your radio out,
I will,
so that you can our receiver or 2 if you want, or we can bind whatever to your radio. I think I got a couple of other airplanes. We may have to do 1 or 2 little tweaks on maybe the wings if we're going to fly those this year.
Sure.
And maybe just go over 1 or 2 airplanes, make sure they're all still, flyable condition. But other than that,
well, it's like that every year, right? We have the first day or 2 of rebuilding, retuning, retweaking, repairing. That usually takes the first day or 2, and then then we actually hit the festival.
Yeah, I might do the same thing I did last year though, and get everything kind of tweaked up a week before, so we don't have to do that. We can just fly. Because I think it's more fun if we just concentrate on flying. But
I guess so, dude. I don't know. I kind of enjoy the building stuff, making a mess in your house, driving your wife crazy.
I know. Well, now you really can't make a mess because I have this neat pack out thing that it all just stays in one place. So it's not like I have to drag it out all the time. But
it's just so much fun as we spread from your room into the spare bedroom, then into the kitchen, then we take over the living room.
Yep.
And then your wife retreats from the TV room just to your bedroom and just stays in there and hides.
Yeah, this year she asked me, she goes, so Jay's coming up for the Electro Festival again this year? And I said, yeah. She goes, I was like, uh-oh, the wheels are turning. She goes, I may
what
be,
does she want us
I
to
may
do?
be out of town that week. So she's already talking about going and visiting her sister or something while we're, because I know it drives her absolutely bonkers when we take over the house. I've literally, if you haven't heard an episode about us before the Electro Festival before, we literally take over almost every room in the house except the master bedroom. I think that's her domain where she draws the line and says, okay, nothing electronic comes into the bedroom, or RC related, I guess. And so we kind of have to stop there. But everywhere else, garage, the living room, the dining room, on the table in the kitchen.
I mean, it shouldn't be this bad this year because, I mean, typically on those years, I mean, quite literally, we're building 2 full-size aircraft.
That's true. 60 size.
I mean, when those were happening, we were building, 1 or 2 full-size aircraft.
Pretty much all night.
Yeah, well, all day, all night, and then you're working on one section, I'm working on another one, or we're working on 2 different planes at the same time.
Right.
So
Wow, that's very cool.
I mean that.
So this year, last year I got everything ready, so it should still be ready. Other than the wind damage that we got last year on 1 or 2 of my airplanes, most of them should be ready to go. So,
okay,
but we'll check them out.
If she's gonna be there, she's gonna be there while I'm there. You should ask her what project she'd like to have done, because then I'll help out.
That's true,
and then that will make her happy.
Well, that probably would. How about you clean out the garage? That's what she's going to say. We're going to be like, oh, no.
Well, actually, that won't take very long at all.
No, especially if there's a big garbage dump out front. Most of that stuff away.
I have no personal sentiment to anything in your garage.
That's right.
It's not going to hurt me one bit to step on, crush, break, smash, or throw away anything.
Yeah,
so
true.
That's the key of having me there.
Well, I know it should be pointing you in the direction of, see all that stuff right there on those shelves? All that balsa wood stuff? Just get rid of that.
Oh, my.
Well, the hour is up, unfortunately. We have rattled on through 1 hour's worth of podcast. Before you go, though, I got some new servos, as you can see here. I'm holding it up for Jay. It's a Metal Gear, Tower Pro Metal Gear servo. My cracked yak lost its aileron servo while I was flying, wound up in the top of a tree, and I had to get the ladder out to go up there and get it. But I'm not really sure what happened to it. But anyway, I just received, when I got back, I had a little bag of 9-gram servos to put back. So this one's already ready to go back in the cracked yak, and I should have it ready to go here in this week. Good. So, yeah.
Now, did the crack yak have Metal Gears in it, or was it just?
It did. No, it had Metal Gears. They were digital,
really?
Metal Gear digital servos, and I don't really understand what happened. Yeah, it was working fine. I was out there flying it, and everything was going good. I did a rolling circle, and then for some reason, when I came out of it, luckily it wasn't while I was doing it, but when I came out of it and flew straight and level for a second, I went to go make a turn, and no more ailerons. So it was kind of weird. I ruddered it around. The battery started going, and it wound up kind of started sinking, and I was trying to, get it to come around with just the rudder, and it just kind of fell out into the top of this tree.
At least the trees in Arizona are low-ish. So
yeah, that's why I had to get the ladder to go get it, because it was so low.
Yeah,
it was the 10-foot ladder, by the way. So it was the big tree in the backyard, because I was, I was flying in the front yard, but there's two big trees. I have really two big, huge trees in my backyard, and it hit one of them and was just up in the top of it. So anyway, I was lucky because the ladder was sitting like right next to the house, because we had just used it to get up on the roof to fix the roof. So I was just able to stand it up, crawl and jump up there and grab it and bring it down. But yeah, for some reason, I don't know if it burned out or just quit working. But I have a replacement, and now we'll be back in the air shortly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, hey, not a bad show for the first one of the year.
Yeah. Welcome back, I guess. Welcome to our new season. And yep, if you're here for the first time, thanks for joining us. And if you're one of our old-time listeners, we appreciate you coming back. We enjoy doing this. And actually, believe it or not, at the end of the year, we got a lot of really good comments from some of the guys that were from the other podcasts that were coming over. We did get a lot of kudos. So we enjoy it. Send us a note and let us know what you want to hear about. If you have something special or a build that you've done or paint colors that you want to suggest, we welcome all of that. So
you betcha.
Yeah. It's going to be an exciting year. I'm getting geared up for it. I can't believe this year went by so fast already.
We say that every year.
I know. It's a new
We're getting older,
it's
that's
a new
why.
millennium now, right? 2020 starts a whole new decade.
Yeah, but we still don't have flying cars, and I can't go to the moon yet.
I know. Exactly. That's funny.
So I'm a little bummed about that. So,
Well, here's the crazy part. I look back at when you and I were in college, and I think we had I don't know. I had some sort of a business communications or something. I know you and I had a communications class together, but there was something else that I had, a economics class or something. I think Tom and I had it together. Anyway, I remember that we had to do a project, and we did the project, and it was a futuristic project in the year 2025. It was so far away. And so we had to name a company, and so we named our company 2525, and we did these real, we used this computer system called an Amiga 2000, which back then, for those of you that have been around a while, you'll know what that is. But any new listeners that are younger than our age won't know what that is. But we used it because it had some really cool features to it. We did this whole video presentation and thought we were just the cat's meow, looking at this far away time frame. And now I'm looking at it right around the corner. So I'm like, whoa, what happened? That's only 5 years away.
That's right.
And we're not nearly as advanced as we said we were going to be. I mean, we were all automated everything at that point, but we still have come a long way, though. You think about it.
Oh yeah, man. We have cars that can drive themselves. I'm producing parts with my 3D printer in my house, which I think is just cool as can be. I mean, there's some things that we're doing. I mean, just think about how much information that we have at our fingertips. I mean, you and I talk about it all the time with our kids. They're like, hey, how do you do blah, blah, blah? If you only had this cool device and maybe this thing called Google that you could just
That's right.
type in whatever and just know. I mean, quite literally, if I have to take your appendix out, I can watch a video and have your appendix out. Well, you may or may not live, but I could do it. Just think about that. Just think about that back, like you said, back when we were in college, to have any paper we're working on, to look up any information that we wanted, to research anything that we needed in like 10 minutes time.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'll tell you what, it would have made our technical writing class go a lot better.
Oh gosh, don't even bring that up.
What are you talking about? We had some really fun times in the library. I think Jay and I got kicked out of the library at least twice, more than that, because we were in there laughing like two little hyena school kids. I mean, we were just laughing our butts off. And the little proctor lady kept coming over there going, shh, it's a library, be quiet, We'd start laughing at that. We'd have to gather our stuff up and get out of there. But yeah, it was a fun class. Well, fun for some of us, I guess. Once we figured out how to pass the class.
It was fun for us, but not the other people around us.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, these guys shut up.
It's pretty bad. When we first got to that class, there were like 35 people in this class or more. I think it was probably 35 or 45 people in this class. And the professor comes in at exactly 8 o'clock, right? Because we had just gotten there and sat down. He shuts the doors, locks the doors, and says, if you're ever later than 8 o'clock on the dot, you will get locked out and you will get a 0 for this class, for this day. And everybody was like, oh my gosh. And about that time, bang, bang, bang on the door. There was like 4 or 5 students that had arrived late that he was like, yep, see you later. And I think they headed off to the administrator to drop the class. And then after they left, he looked at all of us and he said, by the way, out of the 40 some odd people that are in this class, only one of you will receive an A. Remember that?
Yep, I remember that.
And about half the class got up and walked out. And Jay and I were like, what does that mean? Well, can we get a B? Is that okay? I mean, both of us were like, we just want a B. This is when you pass this class. It's required to graduate. And, but yeah, it's true to his word. Only one, actually, by the time he got finished with all the requirements of the class, I think there were 12 of us left.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a terrible class, but actually it was a good learning moment.
Oh yeah, and, it was great.
Learning in business and how to deal with people, and once again, learning about what somebody wants and how to get it.
That's correct.
That was the big thing.
And we did do real well at the technical writing. I think we both wound up doing fairly well in the class. So it took us a little bit to get started, but once we finally figured out what he wanted
and how to do it, and it was really easy once you did what he wanted you to do. It was hard not to get a good grade.
Correct. But the problem is it took us a couple of times. Took us a couple of weeks into the class. So the 1A in the class was the guy that knew what to do from day one. The rest of us all had to figure it out. And those of us that figured it out earlier in the class of what he required, we got the B. And the guys that didn't really figure it out till the last half of the class, they were the ones with the C's, D's, and then we had two people fail because they never even showed up to class, but to take the test. So anyway, it was a fun time though, and hard to believe it was so long ago. I now have gray hair and a little chubby dude, looked like Santa Claus, but back then we were stud muffins and thought the world was our oyster. So. I guess it still is, huh? We still think that?
Still is. What are you talking about?
The world's always.
I look in the mirror and go,
exactly.
Damn, that guy looks good.
I look in the mirror and go, who's that old guy? That's crazy. Well, thank you very much for joining us for the new year. We're looking forward to a great season. Unfortunately, our hour is up, so we're going to let you guys go. We are looking forward to hearing from you, and we're looking forward to a bunch of great episodes. And Jay, thanks for joining me again tonight, and we're looking forward to having Mike and some new guests on as the year progresses. So, having said all that, Wish everybody a Happy New Year. And I'm Michael from Arizona.
And I'm Jay from the hills of Texas.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Let's fly.
You have been listening to the Park Flyer Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your next visit. Please give our show a star rating and review, and feel free to email us your questions, topics, or suggestions to parkflyerpodcast@gmail.com.